In life, real change rarely arrives in sudden bursts. It grows quietly, step by step, through small choices repeated until they become part of who we are. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, shows us how small habits shape our days, and how our days shape our destiny. His framework, the 4 laws of behavior change, helps us not just to add new habits but to transform who we believe ourselves to be. Every habit starts with a cue, something that catches your attention and tells your brain, do this now. It might be the sight of your running shoes by the door, the smell of coffee brewing in the morning, or the calm of an empty page waiting to be filled. These cues work best when they are obvious and visible. Hiding your journal in a drawer makes you forget it. Keeping it on your table makes the habit of writing feel like a natural next step. Making cues obvious means designing your environment to remind you gently and often. To read more, keep books in sight. To drink water, place a bottle on your desk. The environment becomes an invisible hand that guides your choices without force. But seeing something isn't always enough. The second step is craving. The cue must spark a desire to act. We don't crave brushing our teeth. We crave a fresh, clean mouth. We don't crave opening a language app. We crave the pride of progress. Making habits attractive often means linking them to something pleasurable. You might pair study time with your favorite tea, or promise yourself your morning walk is when you listen to music you love. Temptation bundling combines what you want to do with what you need to do. This transforms the habit from a chore into a treat, making your brain look forward to it instead of resisting it. Once desire is there, it must meet ease. The third law is to make the habit easy. Even when you want to do something, if it feels complicated, you hesitate. Clear teaches the power of the 2-minute rule. When starting a new habit, scale it down so it takes less than 2 minutes. Instead of telling yourself to read for an hour, start with opening the book and reading a single page. Instead of committing to run 5 kilometers, start with putting on your shoes and stepping outside. Starting small is not weakness. It is building momentum. Once you start, you often do more. But the magic is that even on the hardest days, the small version keeps the habit alive. Finally, every habit must feel rewarding. The fourth law is to make it satisfying. The brain repeats what feels good. Good habits often have long-term rewards but feel hard now, so we bring the reward closer. Marking an X on a calendar, tracking your streak in an app, or simply pausing to feel proud of yourself creates an immediate sense of completion. When a habit feels satisfying, it becomes easier to do it again tomorrow. Without satisfaction, the habit fades because it feels like effort without payoff, taught together. These steps form the cycle of cue, craving, response, and reward. You see the running shoes, crave the feeling of movement, put on the shoes, and feel proud afterward. The next time you see the shoes, the cycle is a little stronger. And repeating it turns it from effort into routine. To break a bad habit, you reverse the same steps. Make the cue invisible. Remove sweets from your kitchen. Make it unattractive. Remind yourself of the harm it brings. Make it difficult. Keep tempting apps logged out or Make it unsatisfying. Create accountability, so skipping the habit feels embarrassing. Habits are not destiny. They are designs we can rebuild. Change becomes deeper when it moves from action to identity. Most people focus on what they want, outcomes like losing weight or writing a book. Clear suggests we start by deciding who we wish to become, a healthy person, a writer, a learner. Each small habit then becomes a vote for that identity. Writing 1 paragraph each day might seem too little, but it proves to yourself, I'm a writer. A walk around the block says, I'm someone who cares about health. The size of the vote matters less than its repetition. Over time, these votes add up, and identity quietly shifts. Small habits compound. Improving by 1% each day barely shows in a week, but over a year, it can transform your life. Just as money earns compound interest, habits build compound change. 1 saved coin becomes real savings. 1 page becomes a book. 1 minute of calm breathing becomes a calmer mind. Systems matter more than goals. Goals give direction, but systems guide daily action. If your system is to read 1 page daily, you will read books even if you forget your big goal. If your system is to save a small amount each week, wealth grows almost without noticing. Systems create momentum that does not rely on motivation. Motivation fades on cold mornings. Systems do not. Motivation still has its place, especially at the start, but long-term change depends on design. Make the good habit the path of least resistance. Prepare gym clothes the night before. Leave your journal open on your desk. Charge your phone in another room to reduce mindless scrolling. When the environment makes the good choice easier and the bad choice harder, you act without thinking. Tracking habits adds another layer of power. Marking each successful day builds a chain you don't want to break. Tracking also makes progress visible, turning abstract effort into proof. Even a small checkbox carries surprising satisfaction. Failures will come. You might skip a day or fall back into an old habit. The key is to never miss twice. Missing once is a mistake. Missing twice starts a new negative habit. Instead of blaming yourself, reflect. Was the habit too big? Was the cue hidden? Could the reward be improved? Change the system, not the goal. Advanced strategies deepen this system. Habit contracts, promises with consequences. Add accountability. Telling a friend your goal means failing feels heavier. Joining a community where your desired habit is the norm uses the pull of social proof. And temptation bundling keeps habits attractive by connecting them to pleasure. Identity, once changed, becomes the strongest force. When you believe I'm a reader, picking up a book feels natural. When you see yourself as a person who moves daily, skipping exercise feels strange. True transformation comes when habits move from what you do to who you are. Life changes. New jobs, illness, travel can challenge habits. Keeping them flexible helps them survive. Even a 5-minute version keeps the vote alive. Perfection isn't the goal, persistence is. Real stories prove these ideas. A man who never ran started by putting on shoes daily, then walking 5 minutes, then jogging. Months later, running felt natural. A woman who feared speaking started by practicing short talks alone, then with a friend, then at small meetings, until it became part of her work life. Another person who wanted to read more began with a single paragraph daily, turning into dozens of books over time. These transformations are rarely loud. They are built quietly, in small rooms, early mornings, late evenings, and countless unnoticed moments, yet, over years, they become visible, and others call them discipline or talent. In truth, they are the fruit of tiny, daily votes cast for a chosen identity. Every action you take today is a silent vote for the person you wish to become tomorrow. Make the good habit obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Reverse these steps to break a bad habit. Focus not just on outcomes but on identity. Design systems that guide you even when motivation fades. Celebrate small wins and track progress. And when you fail, reflect gently and return quickly. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. By designing better systems, you cast better votes. By casting better votes, you become your chosen self. And by becoming your chosen self, you live a life not built in bursts of effort but shaped patiently. One small habit at a time. Change isn't magic, it's design. Habits aren't heroic, they are humble. Yet over time, these small, silent choices become the most powerful force in your life. And that, as James Clear teaches, is the quiet power of atomic habits. In the end, change is not something we chase on the outside, it's something we build on the inside. A habit starts as a small whisper, a thought that maybe you could do things differently. Over time, through gentle repetition, it becomes a part of you so natural that you barely notice it's there. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing that the first thing you'll do is drink a glass of water, because that's who you are now, someone who takes care of their body. Imagine sitting down at your desk and writing even a single sentence, because you are a writer, not because you forced yourself to be one. Imagine going for an evening walk, not out of guilt, but because movement feels like home to you. These aren't sudden transformations. They come from small, daily decisions repeated often enough to become identity. The secret is not willpower that burns out, but systems that keep going, even when you're tired or distracted. You design your set tiny starting steps, and reward yourself gently until each habit feels as familiar as breathing. And yes, there will be days when you slip. But slipping isn't failing, it's an expected part of the journey. What matters is not to let one missed day become two, and not to let two missed days become a new, unwanted habit. When this happens, pause. Ask why. Was the cue missing? Was the step too big? Was the reward unclear? Adjust the system, then gently begin again. Each restart is another vote for the person you want to be. Think about what you want most deeply, not just what you want to have, but who you want to become. Maybe you want to become a calm person, a healthy person, a creator, a learner, or someone who shows kindness first. Once you know this, every tiny action becomes a chance to prove it to yourself. Reading one page, a vote for being a reader. Saying no to a late-night snack. A vote for being someone who takes care of themselves. Putting spare change aside. A vote for being financially wise. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start small. Clear's 2-minute rule exists for this reason. Action, even small, beats endless planning. And remember, habits shape us most powerfully when we barely notice them working. Like a tree that grows silently until one day its branches provide shade. In time, others may look at your life and see discipline, but you will know it was design. They may call it talent, but you will know it was daily practice, invisible at first, that quietly changed everything. So, as you move forward, hold on to these truths. Small habits compound into remarkable change. Identity is built from repeated actions, not from a single decision. Systems matter more than raw willpower. Motivation is helpful for starting, but design keeps you going. And real, lasting transformation is less about trying to be perfect and more about trying again and again. In the words of James Clear, You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. By building systems that make good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, and by reversing them to break bad ones, you give yourself the best chance to grow into the person you hope to become. 1. Small action. 1 tiny habit. 1 quiet vote. Cast over and over. This is how big changes happen patiently, gently, and always step by step. Change is not a thunderstorm that strikes all at once, but a quiet sunrise that slowly lights the sky. Each habit you build is a gentle ray, breaking through the shadows of old patterns, though unseen. At first, these rays grow stronger until they illuminate your entire life. Remember, you are not the sum of a single day, nor a moment of failure. You are the collection of every choice, every small victory, every time you chose to try again. This is your power, the ability to shape yourself with kindness and patience. So step forward with courage, knowing that every tiny action is a seed, planted for a better future. Make your environment your ally. Make your habits so simple they can't be ignored. Make your rewards so sweet they call you back. And most of all, believe in the slow, steady magic of growth. Because in the end, the person you become is not written in the stars. It is written in the small, repeated steps you take every single day as you embark on the journey of building better habits. It is essential to understand the subtle but profound relationship between your environment and your behavior. The environment is the stage on which all your habits perform, and if this stage is cluttered with distractions or barriers, your habits will struggle to take center stage. Designing your surroundings thoughtfully is like setting up a garden for growth. You must prepare the soil, plant seeds in fertile ground, and tend to them regularly. Consider this: when healthy snacks are placed front and center in your kitchen, and sugary treats are tucked away in a hard-to-reach cabinet, you are unconsciously nudging yourself toward better choices. When your workout clothes are laid out the night before, the decision to exercise in the morning becomes less about willpower and more about habit. Environment design is the unsung hero of habit formation, quietly guiding your actions without demanding effort. But the environment is only half the story. At the heart of all change is motivation, the craving that fuels your behavior. James Clear teaches us that cravings are not for the habit itself, but for the change in state or feeling the habit promises. You don't just brush your teeth. You crave feeling clean and fresh. You don't simply go for a run. You seek energy and confidence. Recognizing this helps us craft habits that are not only easier to perform, but also more fulfilling. To boost motivation, it is helpful to pair habits with things you enjoy. This technique, known as temptation bundling, leverages the power of pleasure to make habits more attractive. For instance, allow yourself to listen to your favorite podcast only when you're on the treadmill, or indulge in a special coffee while journaling. By combining a habit with an immediate reward, your brain learns to anticipate positive outcomes, making the habit easier to repeat. Once the craving is sparked, the habit itself must be simple enough to execute. The 2-minute rule emphasizes that starting a new habit should never feel overwhelming. Instead of aiming to write an entire chapter, write just 1 sentence. Instead of committing to an hour of exercise, begin with tying your shoes and stepping outside. This small action is often enough to break the inertia, and more often than not, you'll find yourself continuing beyond those 2 minutes. When a habit is easy, it lowers the friction to starting, but it is the satisfaction afterward that cements the behavior. Human brains are wired to repeat actions that feel rewarding. Adding small, immediate rewards or visual signs of progress creates a sense of accomplishment. This might be as simple as checking off a habit tracker, placing a sticker on a calendar, or pausing to acknowledge your effort. These small doses of satisfaction fuel your motivation and reinforce the habit loop. At the same time, breaking bad habits requires us to invert these laws, removing cues by making them invisible, making habits unattractive through negative associations, increasing the difficulty to perform the habit, and adding dissatisfaction to discourage repetition, all help to dismantle unwanted behaviors. This approach works better than relying on sheer willpower, which is often limited and unreliable. Central to all of this is identity, the story you tell yourself about who you are. True behavior change happens when your habits align with the person you believe yourself to be. Instead of focusing only on goals, focus on becoming the kind of person who achieves those goals. For example, rather than simply aiming to run a marathon, embrace the identity of a runner. Each small habit, putting on your running shoes, stepping outside, taking the first strides, becomes a vote toward that identity. Identity-based habits carry more power because they are when you see yourself as a particular type of person, you act in ways that confirm this belief. Every habit then becomes a declaration of your identity, shaping your self-image with each repeated action. Over time, these small votes accumulate and transform your beliefs, creating lasting change. However, the path to change is rarely linear. Everyone experiences setbacks and failures. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is not the absence of failure, but how quickly and kindly they respond to it. Missing one day doesn't undo your progress, but missing 2 or more in a row can start a downward spiral. The rule is simple: never miss twice. If you slip up, get back on track immediately. Reflection is key when habits falter. Instead of harsh self-judgment, approach failure as an experiment. Ask yourself what went wrong. Was the habit too ambitious, the environment not supportive enough, or the reward missing? Adjust your system accordingly. The goal is progress, not perfection. Advanced strategies like habit contracts, accountability partners, and social groups can help you stay on course. When you make a public commitment or share your goals with others, the social pressure to follow through can be a powerful motivator. Similarly, surrounding yourself with people who embody the habits you want to build creates an environment rich with positive cues and inspiration. Layering habits, or habit stacking, is another powerful tool. By linking a new habit to an existing one, you reduce the mental load required to remember and perform it. For example, after brushing your teeth, you might immediately follow up with 5 minutes of meditation or journaling. This creates a routine that flows naturally, increasing your chances of sticking with your habits. Tracking progress also plays a vital role. Keeping visible records of your habits turns abstract effort into concrete evidence of your journey. A simple habit tracker, journal, or app can help maintain motivation, especially during periods when enthusiasm wanes. The joy of not breaking a streak can become a motivating force of its own. Perhaps one of the most important lessons is that motivation alone will not carry you through. Motivation ebbs and flows. Systems endure. Your success is determined by the quality of the systems you build around your habits. Designing these systems requires foresight and a willingness to experiment and adapt. It means focusing not only on what you want, but on how you can build an environment and identity that supports those desires. Through small habits, identity shifts, and well-designed systems, transformation becomes inevitable. The people you admire, the disciplined, the successful, the fulfilled, did not achieve their status overnight. They grew steadily, day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. You too can become that person by starting today. Begin with something small, something manageable, and let the power of compounding work in your favor. The first step might be the hardest, but once taken, it becomes easier to take the next dot. Remember, change is not an event. It's a process. It's the quiet unfolding of thousands of small decisions that build into a new way of living. Your habits are not obstacles but tools. Tools you can sharpen, design, and use to carve out the life you want. As you practice these principles, be patient and compassionate with yourself. Growth is not a race, but a journey. Celebrate each small victory. Learn from setbacks. And keep your eyes on the person you are becoming. Your future self will thank you for the care and consistency you showed today. By embracing the 4 laws of behavior change, making habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you empower yourself to live intentionally and with purpose. This is the art of building atomic habits. Small, incremental steps that lead to extraordinary transformation. As you reflect on everything we've explored, remember this: the path to lasting change is not paved with sudden bursts of effort or fleeting motivation. Instead, it is built quietly, one small habit at a time. Through consistent choices that align with the person you want to become. Each habit you form is a vote for your identity, a declaration of who you are and who you are becoming. Never underestimate the power of tiny changes. Just as a single drop of water can carve a canyon over time, a single habit, repeated day after day, reshapes your life. The 4 laws of behavior change, making habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, are your toolkit for creating a system that supports growth and transformation. But growth is not a straight line. You will face setbacks. You will stumble. When this happens, be kind to yourself. Use failure as a signal to adjust your approach, not as a reason to give up. Remember the rule: never miss twice. The moment you falter, commit to returning to your habit as quickly as possible. This resilience is what separates temporary change from lifelong transformation. Design your environment so it serves you. Remove distractions. Add positive cues, and surround yourself with people who inspire your best self. Use accountability and temptation bundling to keep your motivation alive. Track your progress, celebrate your wins, and keep your habits small enough to be sustainable. Above all, focus on your identity. When your habits align with the person you want to be, change stops being a chore and becomes a natural expression of who you are. You become the person who writes daily, who exercises regularly, who saves wisely. You become the best version of yourself without forcing it. In the words of James Clear, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So, build systems that make your good habits effortless and your bad habits difficult. Cast your votes every day, no matter how small. Over time, these votes will add up, and you will look back amazed at how far you've come. Your journey starts now with a single step, a single habit, a single choice. Take it with confidence, knowing that the power to change your life is in your hands, not through luck or willpower alone, but through the steady, quiet power of atomic habits. Thank you for trusting me to guide you through this journey. Now go forward, design your habits wisely, and watch as your small steps lead to extraordinary transformation.